Hake is live. Let me retweet my Periscope. Periscope is going away. Twitter swallowed up Periscope. And I'm live on D Live and what else am I live on? Facebook and YouTube and trovo.live/The Hake Report. And of course, TalkStream Live, The Hake Report. Live audio on TalkStream Live. I think it's, let me type it in, TalkStreamLive.com. And you can download their app and all that stuff. JLP Live Player as well. Very nice. TheHakeReport.com/show to find all the links. JesseLeePeterson.com/show is where the player resides, actually in the listen side. I will be taking your calls. This is The Hake Report. I'm James Hake. It's Thursday, 9:02 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time, January 28th, 2021. Can you believe it's Thursday already? Let me pull up my Periscope. Everything seems to be working. I will be taking your calls, like I said, 888-775-3773. And touching on, I have some information about this Chamath guy. I called him Indian, like from India, but actually I'm not sure what he is because I don't recognize the name of what country he's from or whatever. Based on Wikipedia, maybe some of you guys, less ignorant people listening to my show, can fill me in on it. But I have some information about him and a throwback clip of Hillary Clinton. He's like a Hillary Clinton fan girl, or he was. And I hate to call him a girl, but he just is. I mean, he's a Democrat. What do you expect? Grew up on welfare in Canada and all kinds of stuff. But he's rich now. He's a billionaire. So right on to him, but not for what's right generally, I don't think. Some information about a hit piece, an attack on a Trump-supporting private citizen and her husband. This young lady, this young woman, I don't know how young she is, who her business was called, or is called, I guess, Taking Cara Babies, because her name is Cara. Cara. And they're going after her. Somebody dug up put in her name because she was putting in, Christian, mildly conservative stuff. She goes to Chick-fil-A. And so somebody apparently went into the FEC records, Federal Election Commission records, and found out, ooh, she supports Trump, a racist. Ridiculous. It's shameful. And some other things to cover. Stuff I touched on in Hake News, the attacks on our great American heroes, plus Dianne Feinstein. I forget why they want to rename Dianne Feinstein Elementary School. Oh my gosh. But Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, they're going after them. And other great American heroes from the 1800s and 1700s and all that stuff. What a mess. So anyway, let's get on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how is everybody doing? I am fine. Let me get right into this story with San Francisco wanting to, according to Drudge Report. Yeah, I looked at Drudge Report again. And the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco to scrub Lincoln, Washington, and other names from 44 schools. I got kind of cut off at the end of Hake News, at the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. I do this news segments. And the San Francisco City, I guess it's the city, school board voted Tuesday deeming iconic figures unworthy of the honor of having schools named after them. Well, honestly, it's kind of a dishonor because schools are brainwashing institutions. Imagine somebody who attended George Washington High School being a total SJW. Not just somebody, most of the children, right? Most of these children, and they're being encouraged now to rat out their teachers who aren't sufficiently anti-white or anti-man or anti-Christian or anti-American. Rat them out. All kinds of mess. It was a 6-1 vote after months of controversy over whether Abraham Lincoln and George Washington High Schools and Dianne Feinstein Elementary School needed new names with no connection to slavery, oppression, racism, or whatever. And I don't remember what the controversy was with Dianne Feinstein. I think to this day, she's a dinosaur. Jesse Lee Peterson always points out how she's dead in the eyes. She's just an evil, empty, vapid woman. But she's a dinosaur. And she's still a senator, I think, from California. Evil. But whatever stupid reason, critics are pointed out that this committee that pushed for this renaming of these schools, 44 schools in San Francisco, it could cost like $1 million or more because they have to change all the signage and change uniforms and change this and that. It's ridiculous. It's stupid, and it's doing nothing. Joel Friday here always points out, what is it going to do? Nothing. It's only going to encourage judgmental people, judging people who are probably more moral than they are. You know, old dead people from the 1800s and before, and some since, some who are still living today. Like even Dianne Feinstein, every now and then, because she's an old school person, she does something a little less nonsensical. She's a little bit more sensible because she's so old and old school. And she probably hasn't lost her mind as much as Joe Biden seems to have. I could be wrong. But she's an evil woman. And doesn't she have a concealed carry and then she's like very anti-gun because she got mugged or something like that? Anyway, the committee didn't even know whether Roosevelt Middle School, I mentioned this in Hake News, was named after Theodore Roosevelt, who I'm told by Tucker Carlson and many great nationalists, some of you guys listen to my show, that he was a great president, Theodore Roosevelt. But it could also have been named after evil Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR, who instituted a whole lot of the problems that we're facing today. He brought in the New Deal, I think, right? Didn't he? And just a sick person. He was wheelchair bound, but he was an evil person. Sicko. Brought in all kinds of socialist type stuff. Communism. He was called a communist by the conservatives, and then he was called a fascist by the communists. Whatever. But there's like the families up in the San Fran area. I have friends and people I know, maybe I wouldn't consider them friends, who live or lived up in that area. And the so-called families, parents, are just degenerate up there. Just have the worst so-called values. And and so it's not just the schools brainwashing children or the social media companies or the Hollywood. Now it's the parents, so-called parents, people my age and younger who are just off the deep end liberal. But they've wanted to change the name of James Denman, Denman Middle School, named after the first superintendent, a racist leader who denied Chinese students a public education. That's not racism. It's not. There were major problems back in the day and conflicts back in the day with all this bringing in of the Chinese labor and them building the railroads and stuff. There was a whole lot of discord among the people and problems. But they just want to chalk it up to racism, ham-fistedly. Oh, he was white, racist. Stupid. They don't care about the truth of the situation. Others are mad that students will wear sweatshirts with the names of slave owners like George Washington, In other words, great men. Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, those are great men. And they were probably decent slave masters. It's a message to our families, our students, and our community, said homosexual, openly, brazenly homosexual. I wouldn't say it if he weren't. Mark Sanchez. He's proud of it, right? I wouldn't be saying it if it were just suspect. Because I'm not into, smearing people like that. But he smeared himself. This Mark Sanchez is a school board member, apparently. And he's saying it's not just symbolic, it's a moral message. Yeah, okay. A San Francisco board member, degenerate San Francisco, an openly homosexual guy talking about morals. What a joke. They want to put everybody in, they want to put y'all back in chains. To quote Joe Biden, but he was talking about Republicans. But these people are oppressive. Who's more oppressive today than the oppressive radical homosexuals who want to force you to bake a gay cake for them or whatever? What a mess. I think it's important to do the right thing, said what they call parent, which is a female parent. Win Louie is her name. I think they switched the first and last names. Whose children attend Adolf Sutro. Can you Google this guy? Because he looks kind of awesome. Adolf Sutro. Adolph. Sutro. Elementary school. Her children, or one of her children, attends Adolf Sutro. Named after a great, what I call great, I'm assuming, right? German, Jewish, American man from the 1800s who discriminated against black people, quote unquote. There he is. From the 1800s, this woman is judging this man because supposedly he discriminated against blacks. Who didn't back in those days? The people today support abortion out like crazy, like mad. And they think that they're moral. I'm going to get to that. But this guy, so-called discriminated, he died before the 1900s. She doesn't have a clue about, but this is a parent teaching the children. She said, we should honor him with the name of our elementary school. We should not honor him with the name of our elementary school. Well, honestly, that's a dishonor. If your school has parents like this, right? A parent survey showed 80% suckers are in favor of changing the name. Give us a chance to come up with our own new name, she said. One we can be proud of. Like what, Harvey Milk Middle School? Didn't Harvey Milk, wasn't he a really radical homosexual, pro everything evil? Actually, even the mayor of San Francisco, that black female, she's not even for this. So there's even division amongst the radical liberals. London Breed is the black female mayor of San Francisco. It's funny. We had in Los Angeles County, I guess, the DA, maybe it's the city, the DA, District Attorney of Los Angeles. We had our first black female DA here in Los Angeles. And then they ousted her and put in a total SJW. But it's funny because the first black female DA, she ushered in, basically, even though she was kind of an unwilling participant, this Gascon guy, George Gascon, who's total Black Lives Matter supporter, endorsed by radical lesbian Black Lives Matter agitator who ran from Jesse Lee Peterson, Patrisse Cullors. They got rid of her and put in this Cuban white-looking George Gascon, who used to be a Republican because he's Cuban, but he's a total evil person supported by George Soros and the husband and wife of Netflix CEO or whatever. Just total gross stuff. Yeah, that woman, that parent, Wen Louie, who doesn't like Adolf Sutro Elementary School because he's a German Jewish American man from the 1800s who discriminated against black people, must be an anti-Semite. Somebody called the ADL. Can we, like, abort the ADL? Deport the ADL? I don't know. But London Breed is not for it. It's funny because I think London Breed endorsed our local DA here in Los Angeles. Because San Francisco is way north of us, right? Like 6 hours away or something. And driving, right? And that woman who was our DA down here, who I believe was endorsed by London Breed, was, although she was a Democrat, I voted for her because I didn't want the Black Lives Matter DA coming in and messing up Los Angeles. Well, this woman seems like she's like, you know, a blind squirrel finds a nut. She was halfway being semi-reasonable with regard to the renaming of these schools. She has a hard look, says Joelle Friday. Yeah, not very ladylike. Not very ladylike. I don't think she's married. I don't know much about this London Breed. What a name, huh? London Breed. I wasn't for her becoming a mayor of San Francisco, but look at who else was mayor of San Francisco. Gavin Newsom, who's about to be ousted. Maybe he won't be ousted, but they're going for him. And there's a whole lot of even liberals who are going after Gavin Newsom. It's kind of like what happened with Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump was in power. Everybody's kissing up to him. Oh, kissing his rear end, pretending that like they support him and support America first. And then the first hint that his power is slipping, turn on him, backstab him, bad. Mitch McConnell, all these guys. Terrible. I think that's kind of what's happening a little bit with Gavin Newsom. Only Gavin Newsom's not a decent person, but Trump is. But it could cost at least $1 million or maybe more to rename these 44 school sites based on other districts across the country, because this is not just happening in California. It's happening across the country. Just trashing our great American heroes, Confederate heroes, and Union heroes, and American heroes in general. Plus, Dianne Feinstein, that's so weird to me. Repainting school fields, gym floors, all that mess. And the district of San Francisco faces a budget shortfall, a budget deficit, meaning annually their budget, they're losing money every year. 75 million approaching 75 million deficit, getting more and more and more in debt. And they want to add another million to that or more. They unanimously voted to, by the way, this board, the school board, to issue a formal apology to what they call Native American families, meaning American Indian, for the land theft, supposedly, and the pain and trauma caused by racist imagery, textbooks, and mascots. Mascots are not racist. Those are an honor. While allocating $200,000 for the district's American Indian education program. And these Indians, I've told you guys, are a mess. By a mess, I mean they're victim groups. They've fully embraced that communist stolen land, genocide, fake version of history, revisionist history. Terrible. And these people kiss up to the worst in people, including electing a homosexual board member, Mark Sanchez. What a mess. So I had to share just a little more in depth about that information. Lines are full, guys. Lines are full. I'm going to tell you about Chamath for California, definitely. And I'm going to tell you about taking Cara babies. Poor people. With a bonus throwback to how evil Hillary Clinton is. And as I was listening to it, it reminds me of some of the rhinos and intellectuals who validate abortion. Validate abortion. It's disgusting. And I will read your super chats too, as much as I can keep up with them. thank you to Dark Side of the Bear What for the emails, keeping me up to date. Sometimes I miss them. What a mess. But let me get to Samuel in Sweden. He wants to talk about government and God and people. Samuel, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Nice. Good to hear from you.
Yes, and excuse me?
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, and I usually want to call in at least once a week.
Right on.
But, I have a stream every Sunday, and I don't have a special topic right now, so we just talk about anything, really. But I was talking with a person today, and I just about the so-called virus, and I realized that people have really made the government their god this last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that people look up to the government sometimes, but now it's like a religion. I question the government really about how they deal with it.
Speaking of government being God, did you get a job yet?
Get a job? No, but I did get approved for the education. So from next week, I will start a 40 weeks welding education.
All right. Make sure you wear your goggles and stay alert. Don't be having a wandering mind or wandering eyes while you're soldering. Don't weld off your finger.
Well, you have to be aware every second, really every less than second, because you mess up just this for less than a second and it doesn't look that good. So you can't go away in your mind, really. You have to be present all the time.
Yeah, good point. Anyway, I interrupted you. You were talking about people worshiping government and stuff.
Yeah, but, it was clear to me that it has, I guess before people looked up to the government, they kind of had to believe that the government would take care of them. But now because I started to realize that this has gone on for 1 year almost. Yeah. 1 year about a virus. And usually a virus, a flu or something similar, it takes perhaps a couple of months. But this is 1 year, and I said to the person, it will never end, because if it can keep on going for 1 year, there is no end to this. This is not normal situation. It's not a virus, really, because the virus goes away after a couple of months in circulation. This is something else.
Do they go away, or do they just... Well, yeah, I don't know.
Well...
What a mess.
Well, you heard about Ebola. I don't know about it. It seems like Ebola exists.
Well, I was talking more about the flu than Ebola, because...
Well, it's always some new strain, it seems. Like they come from new strains and new strains. But, they still talk about it like the same virus, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. Perhaps they would call it the COVID-20, COVID-21, and COVID-22, and just keep on pushing it.
Right. Yeah, good point.
But I was awakened anyway to how it's almost religious now. People really have to treat the government as a deity to put themselves in a situation, wearing masks or whatever, following all the orders. And I tell them, I told this person, now I have decided, I rather choose death than to follow these regulations and stuff. I don't going to go around they're afraid for anything.
Right.
And, it's interesting to see their eyes, because they're submitted to the religion of fear, and it's just like, 1 year later, and now they're starting to use masks, because a long time, they didn't use masks in Sweden.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can survive 1 year, why start wearing masks now? That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm not really surprised that Sweden eventually caved in and became like the rest of the world, because I thought of Sweden as being like that. That's where Greta Thunberg came from, Sweden.
Well, it's not. I can tell you, it's not mandatory, but I mean, it's
Right.
a steady increase of people
fair.
wearing masks.
Yeah.
Young and old people. I even saw a person wearing a mask inside of a car driving just days ago. And I said, man.
That's what we see all the time here in LA. It's ridiculous.
I have to ask you, and I will do it if you say it's a good idea. They do sell masks at the store, and I thought I could just buy a couple of mask packages and then use them on my stream and see how many I have to put on me before I suffocate. Not suffocate, because they say you have to 2 or 3 masks. Perhaps I put 10 or 20 masks on me or something.
Right.
Just to see when I can't breathe.
You should do a vape test with wearing 2 masks and see if any of the vapor, I don't know if you have vape over there in Sweden. See if the vapor comes out.
I guess I got to buy a package of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, you quit smoking, huh? Did you quit smoking? Nice.
And then I started, and then I quit again.
Oh, good. Well, right on to you, man. Well, it's interesting.
They pay. You have to pay high amounts of money to use those masks. 5 masks cost $5. I mean, $1 a mask.
Yeah, and they say
expensive.
They say you should either clean them or replace them.
This is
every 2 days.
This is one-use mask. This is not a reuse.
Wow.
It's a one-use mask.
Yeah, that's terrible. If it were me, like water bottles, those disposable water bottles, I will use one because I'm not into like bottled water that much. So I'll use them and refill it for like a month or 2 or 3 with just tap water. Same thing with masks. I would think that a lot of people are just reuse masks, and at that point, it doesn't. It's so counterproductive.
Hey, perhaps I shouldn't say this, but the last couple of weeks I have started to see all these one-use masks being thrown on the ground.
Yeah.
And I started to think, perhaps, if I really want to save money, I can start. But, I mean, I throw them everywhere. I mean, I could have like 5 or 10 masks already if I could perhaps wash them.
That is
crazy.
Funny. Yeah, they're talking about how the masks are now adding to the pollution and the danger to these marine life because they're getting washed to the shore, especially up in San Francisco Bay Area up here. It's ridiculous. Anyway, man, that's interesting. That's funny.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's like they're worshiping a false version of science, and these scientists are... One, they're brainwashed in public schools and social media, and they're just socially very weak people because most people, period, are weak. And then they're money grubbing. They're in bed with the government. They're politically motivated, and they're know-it-alls. They're arrogant know-it-alls who think that they get a power trip to tell you what to do. There was a woman named she's lesbian from MSNBC, and she said that the scientists should lead. No, not true. Decent, honest scientists can inform a leader, and then a leader leads. But these people are not leaders. They'll tell you, they'll be overprotective, overzealous, and just get an ego trip out of shutting down the country and shutting down stuff. They don't actually tend to provide value, a lot of scientists. It's pretty rare, I bet, for a scientist to actually provide value to the world. So, what a mess. Anyway.
I want to add one thing, and that's something I started to realize, that we as conservative, as people seeing in life, we have so much to speak up against the evil people, the leftist people.
Yeah.
Because they like to blame us for everything, call us names and things. But, I mean, we have so much against them. We can call them baby murderers. We can call them genocidal because they want to destroy Western culture. They want to sturdy white races. I mean, and we can use. I mean, I just wait for a moment when someone will start, blaming me for being whatever, because I'm a Christian or whatever, and I will scream baby murder in their face. I mean, I just hope I get that opportunity.
That's funny. Yeah, but I mean, we have to be wise and humble and not too quick to pounce on these people just because they're pouncing on us. You pounce on them with wisdom and to win, because I get you, man. It's very tempting to just attack these people, because they don't stand for anything good, and there's all kinds of different ways you can point out their evil and their hypocrisy and their lies. But we have to fight in such a way as to win. So, anyway, and with love, with like real love. Very nice. Anyway, man, appreciate it, Samuel. Good to hear from you.
It's always a pleasure to call you.
Nice. Take care, man. We heard about that Swedish girl in Hake News at the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today, because Joe Biden is pushing that climate nonsense. Shameful. Greta Thunberg. How dare you? The bad actress. She's a bad actress. I think she's over 18 now. I could be wrong. Greta Thunberg age. 18. Told you. Anyway, let me get to Killian in Boston, Massachusetts. Wants to comment on what you may have heard about in the Jesse Lee Peterson show and prior with GameStop and the stock madness. Killian, what's up?
Guten Tag, Kameraden.
Hey, Guten Tagen. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Yes, Guten Morgen for me.
Guten Morgen.
Yeah.
Yes, it's past 12 here.
Nice.
Yeah, the gamers are rising up.
I love that story, man. I don't understand it completely, but I love it. And it sounds like it's just everybody, bunch of normal people.
Yeah,
and people who are into, like, gamers, like you might say.
Well, these Wall Street traders, they're like the most hated people in the world right now. And everyone's getting together and they're buying up the stocks that these big hedge funds have severely shorted.
Right.
And it's screwing them. They're saying that they already lost $91 billion yesterday because of it.
Can you explain in simple terms, in short, to the people what happened? Because Nick explained it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, but just for my viewers, what happened, what they did?
All right, so these hedge fund managers, they all thought GameStop, which is that brick and mortar store at the mall that sells video games.
Yes.
Everyone knows that it's slowly dying, so they shorted it, which basically is what they do is they borrow the stock at the current price and promise to give you the stock back at a later date.
Okay.
And so if the stock price goes down, they can buy the stock at a lower price and give it back to you and keep the profit.
Yeah.
So basically, on Reddit, Wall Street Bets, and on 4chan, they all noticed this.
And that's a negative. That's basically they get to keep your loss. Is their gain.
Yeah, they're betting against it.
Yeah.
They're betting against it.
Right, okay.
There's a lot of history in people doing this for nefarious reasons. George Soros became as rich as he is because he bet against the English pound.
Wow.
Back in the 80s or 90s or something like that. But anyway, everyone decided to gang up and just buy the stock and push it way up. So it screwed them over, because if they borrow the stock at a certain price and it's higher, then when their contract is up, they have to purchase at the higher price.
Nice.
And they lose a ton of money.
I love that.
So basically, right now, I'll give you the up-to-date situation. All these retail trading platforms like Robinhood, I don't know if you heard of them.
Only in this context. Only with this story had I heard of them.
Yeah, and you get like E-Trade and all these other sites where like normal everyday people can buy stocks.
Yeah, do it yourself. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they've all basically colluded together and prevented anyone from buying the stock, but you're still allowed to sell.
Oh, so they tried to put a stop to we the people, or these gamers, the people, doing to the hedge fund people what the hedge fund people do to the little business guys.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. But it's not stopping it. It's not stopping the movement because even though the price of the stock went down a lot this morning,
yeah,
it's skyrocketing back up right now.
That is funny. That's cool. I love that story. And you know, gamers in general have been under attack.
The little guy poking the big guy in the eye, and they don't like it.
Right. That's cool. I like clever stories, and I like cases where people are clever and find a way to win against the Goliath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that.
I know on Jesse's show he likes to play that if video a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you don't really take video requests, but I have one that I highly recommend to you. It's the best song on the internet now that is describing this whole situation. It's a sea shanty. It's on YouTube. It's called the GME Tendieman Sea Shanty. And I guarantee if you played it for your listeners, it's literally the best song of all 2021 right now.
Right. Nice. All right. Appreciate the tip. GME Tendieman Sea Shanty.
Yes.
Okay. Appreciate that.
It's gold. It's gold. I've probably listened to it about 50 times since last night.
Nice. All right,
It's
Killian.
really well done. But yeah, I'll let you get to the other callers. I know your lines are full. You're a popular guy.
Appreciate it, man. It's good to hear from you. Take care.
You as well. Take
All
care.
right. Bye. Let me get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. He also wants to comment on this GameStop story, GameStop story.
Okay.
What's up, Joe? Oh, Joe, make sure you turn off the radio.
I'm sorry, say again?
I was just coming to you. Just wanted you to turn off the radio.
You got it.
Thanks. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so what did you want to say about the GameStop thing?
Hey, James. So, yeah,
Hey.
This is not a good thing like people are saying. And here's why. First of all, you can't just short a stock down to zero. It's not possible. They have what's called the uptick rule. So before you can short again, yet someone else has to buy it. Okay? And second of
So
all...
that's a reference to there was an allegation made by one of the Fox News guys, Fox Business guys, who said that they were driving GameStop down to zero. And you said that that's not true because it's against the rules and they wouldn't have been able to do that.
You can't do that now. That's part of what caused the stock market crash back in the 1920s with Black Tuesday.
Okay.
So they put in the uptick rule to stop that from happening.
So it wasn't all that bad what they were doing to GameStop? Is that what you're saying?
Well, listen, these people on Reddit and these other sites pumping up these stock prices. They're not just sticking it to the eye of the big guys. What they're doing is they're buying the stock and then posting a whole lot of crap about how wonderful it is to drive the price up more,
Right.
so they can make their profits and get out.
Yeah. Right.
So they are manipulating the stock price, and believe me, you don't want that, James.
But are they doing anything different from what the hedge fund people do?
That's a matter of opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
Hedge fund managers are not out there, posting a bunch of stuff online. They're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
About how wonderful a stock is after they've already taken a position in that stock.
I hear that when I watched Tucker Carlson last night, I caught this segment at least, and he talked about how oftentimes or sometimes some of these hedge fund types will go on a CNBC, for example, the the money cable cable channel,
Sure.
and say something about either an entire aspect of the marketplace or a particular
And that is true, yes.
thing, and they will mess
do
with things
do
like that.
But
Yeah.
no, it is true, and they do that. But if they're caught doing that, they can face serious penalties, including criminal charges, though.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, going back to last week with SB 1070 here in Arizona.
What does it? But who else does it hurt? Just so that for the lay person, because how is it bad?
So
Whoever's
these guys
doing
on
it.
Reddit and whatnot are, they're buying it themselves and then going online and pumping up a lot of the other folks who don't know any better that, this is a great stock, you need to buy it now, and we're doing this to stick it to the hedge funds.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're just trying to line their own pocket.
Right. And I see that's like, you could call that ill-gotten gain. So is that hurting? I mean, is it the people who don't know any better? Isn't that their fault for buying into the hype?
It is.
Yeah.
And that's called irrational exuberance, because right now the GameStop stock is I think it's close to $300 per share, which is insane.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to be that high, and it's going to crash at some point, and that's bad for everybody, because that causes panic throughout the whole market, and then everyone's 401ks and everything else suffers.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So it can affect other unrelated stocks, let's call them.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why, the SEC and other regulatory bodies are supposed to be on top of all this, but it's tough to stay on top of all of it, especially with social media.
There are reports supposedly that Robinhood, that app, that individual do-it-yourself trading app, won't let people close out their accounts now.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And so it's kind of like everybody's overreacting, and I wonder if that's going to do more harm than good too, What a mess.
It could. I mean, this is something that they didn't see coming, and it's causing a real problem. And
Right.
when you start messing with the markets and manipulating it, it has far-reaching, wide-reaching, it could take down the whole economy, really, it can.
It's kind of like, but to me, here's how I see it a little bit, right? Like there is viral incidences of, let's take it into the information world, like fake news, right? Fake news or misinformation or disinformation gets put out by such and such people, right? But who does more damage with bad information and misguided information? These huge companies in the federal government that put out lies, or the Russian bots, and Russian misinformation stuff. I see the bigger offenders as being the establishment, mainstream media and federal government, who are putting out bad information and misleading the people and pushing, pick whatever thing that you agree with me is fake news that they're putting out there that's destructive to society. I think that maybe we do need to make some changes because of social media and all this stuff, but the people in charge aren't generally, I say, for what's right. And they may know stuff about stabilization, that you can take their advice and stuff like that, or follow their rules, but these people are not decent people. It's hard to know what's right in an evil world, you know what I mean?
Well, believe it or not, James, we actually agree on that.
Yeah. Anyway, man, appreciate the input. Anything else?
Just on both sides, right?
Right.
But just real quick, I know you have other calls, so I won't keep you, but
some say they're saying that they're not selling, they're buying and holding these GameStop hypers. They're buying and holding, not necessarily just selling it to suckers.
Oh gosh, I don't know about that.
And he's calling you a snake.
Who is?
Some of these people in the chat.
Oh, whatever.
You're not in Trovo, are you? Are you in trovo.live/Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, I'm not.
You got to get in there. It's the next big thing, man.
Trovo.
Hey,
Never heard of
Trovo
that.
chat. Do you guys want Joe from Phoenix in the chat? Anyway, man, that's interesting. What were you saying? I interrupted you.
That's all right. You were talking last week about SB 1070 and how it was ruled unconstitutional. And I think I told you that I was working with Jan Brewer, Governor Jan Brewer,
Oh, yeah.
some other things
Uh-huh.
at that time, right?
Yeah.
And they knew at SB 1070 was going to be squashed as unconstitutional. But they were so frustrated that
Right.
the federal government was not acting on immigration here in Arizona that they did it.
Yep.
But the real goal was to get more money and more resources, and that's exactly what happened. They got $600 million and 1,200 more border agents.
Yeah. I've heard positive things. You know, I'm not for these females becoming governors, even Republicans, including Jan Brewer and this woman who's running for Arkansas. What's that?
And in my opinion, Jan Brewer was a total idiot, but anyway.
But you worked with her, huh? Are you a Fed?
Well, I am not a Fed, no.
Do you know what a Fed is?
A Fed?
Yeah.
A federal agent, you mean?
Right.
No, not a federal agent.
Because some people think you're glowing. Oh, he hung up. No, he got disconnected. That's interesting. The Feds disconnected him. Maybe he's a Fed and doesn't know it. I'll accept your call back, I guess, Joe from Phoenix, although we were talking for quite a while. He got disconnected, guys. But he thinks Jan Brewer was a total idiot. Call back or you're a Fed. Let me get to Ruth in Georgia. She wants to ask me an interesting question. Ruth, what's up?
Howdy.
Hey.
Actually, you were just on the phone with the other fella. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name either. Asking about like money and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was calling to ask you your opinion, your views, because you know a lot more. You're a lot younger. How do you protect your family? What is your opinion? What would you do?
In
Let's say
terms of
you're
money?
husband and wife, and you got anything.
Make sure I think you protect your family first by protecting yourself, like becoming a moral, godly person.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't mean relationship with good Lord, because you can't help nobody if you can't.
Yeah.
I meant like financially, all the smart stuff.
You don't overextend yourself in terms of like trying to buy something that you can't afford and not pay back. Don't take a loan that not going to be able to pay back. For example, like getting a house.
Can you call my husband?
What? That's funny.
Can you call my husband? No. If you have dollar bills, that's wonderful. But if you ain't got no food, then it's only good to wipe your tail with. That's how I am.
But most people aren't suffering from any kind of lack of food in America.
Not yet.
That's true. We're going the wrong direction.
Well, yes, sir. And it's not even that.
And it was hard to find toilet paper. Speaking of what you just said, when there was the beginning of the COVID panic, remember that? It was hard to find toilet paper. It's ridiculous. So you might as well have used dollar bills. That's maybe a little vulgar.
Okay. I use coupons and stock up, no matter what.
Oh, right on.
I buy my winter clothes in summer and our summer clothes in winter.
Yeah. Make sure you have food, backup food. That's a good idea.
Oh, don't worry. If we don't, me, my kids, and my husband, we're all going to go to the Reverend's house.
Nice.
I love him, and I love y'all too. Thank y'all for being so kind.
Yeah.
But with the money situation, I don't like banks.
Okay.
They can change their mind. They can close. They can do this. They can do that. I prefer, I guess, seeing food instead of dollar bills.
Oh,
maybe.
interesting. Well, I mean, there are maybe there are like a mutual funds that you can have your money in that you trust that are like Christian and not just Christian in name only. You don't trust anybody? But I mean,
No,
are you in
sir.
charge of your money or is your husband?
Crap. I wish you would call him.
That's
he
funny.
wants me to manage the money.
Oh, that's kind of common. That's kind of common.
No.
I know. I'm not saying
to.
it's a good thing. I just said it's kind of common.
Well, this is what I've been doing for years. Well, not years. I mean, the last few months. But for years, he don't even sign his daggone paycheck. But I save receipts, so he knows where every single cent is going.
Nice. All right.
He still asks me every now and then, how do we spend so much?
Oh, that's funny.
No, I would love it, Stephen, if you would take over the money.
You told him that?
Every single freaking day before we was even married.
Oh, what's going on with our phone? She just got disconnected. What a mess. Let me get back to Joe in Phoenix briefly to finish up with him. Joe, you got disconnected there. What were you saying? Is Joe there? I wonder if we're having problems. Joe, are you there? Are you on mute? I think you have us on mute. Or else something's going on with our system. Going once, going twice. I'll check on it. Check on him. Let me get to Skip in Augusta, Georgia. He wants to comment on the changing of our institutions. Skip, what's up?
Hey, Hake, how you doing, man?
Doing fine. It's good to hear from you.
Can you hear me okay on this phone? I upgraded. I saved me some money up, bought me a real nice phone.
I hear you pretty well, yep.
Well, good.
Nice.
Well, look at here. I hear all this, and I have noticed it periodically. Every now and then we get a black agitator that'll come to town, and he'll want to protest the Confederate statues or something.
Yeah.
And he would call for a meeting of the blacks, and we're going to do this and this on such and such date, and we're going to demand to have these things tore down. Well, I followed this one guy real close on his Facebook and social media and all.
Yeah.
And he never could get a group of people together in any city to get anything done.
That's funny.
You know, and he's kind of just faded away. And but down here in the South, man, we don't care about all that crap. I don't hear nothing about it.
Yeah.
And I live down here in the ghetto.
How about? But I don't think it's the ghetto that cares. Although they will jump on board,
about nothing.
it's the college people.
Well, those are your intellectuals.
Yep.
Who wants to be around them? They're so brainwashed.
Yeah.
They're so brainwashed. They've been brainwashed by their intellectual parents before they were old enough to even know how to think for themselves.
Yeah.
That it's a generational thing, and you're not going to get them to change their mind no kind of way.
Yeah.
So who wants to be around those people? You know, stay away from them.
I know, but sometimes college towns can be nice.
College towns can be what?
They can be kind of nice. you
Well,
know,
you're right, because when I was 19 and 20, I lived down in Tallahassee, Florida, and of course that's the home of FSU. And man, let me tell you what, we had some good times.
Right.
We had some good times at FSU campus.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't remember any politics and all back then. I don't remember too much of nothing, if you want to know the truth, back then.
That's funny.
But college towns are funny, and just like Athens, Georgia, UGA.
Yep.
Oh man, it ain't nothing but a party up there. But I know you got your different groups of people up there. You got your intellects, and then you got your party people, then you got you still got your good old boys because you're down in the South.
Nice.
But you just got to choose who you want to be around.
Right.
And I don't care nothing about being around those kind of people. Now, I say I live down here in the ghetto, but that don't mean I just socialize in the ghetto all the time. I have middle class friends, and believe it or not, even though as southern as I sound, I have some upper class friends.
Nice.
And I go and eat dinner with them, and or we'll go out to have a drink or something. And we never discuss politics. Politics seems to be just something you don't talk about. Politics or religion you don't talk about down here too tough.
Yeah.
And
I wonder how long that's been the case.
I don't know. It seems like I'm in a bubble or something, because everywhere else, I mean, you like what you was talking about, wanting to change the name of this place and that place, and all this. It's just not happening down here. If it is, it's being kept secret undercover.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me ask you this real quick. Have you? I haven't been watching too much Jesse lately, or you at all, because I've been having some physical therapists come in, and
cool.
And I can't get them to work the timing around y'all's schedule, so I'm having to put y'all to the side so I can work with them.
I understand.
But have y'all heard about the Chinese experts saying that the most accurate way to find out if you got the coronavirus is to get your butt swabbed?
No, I didn't hear about that. It sounds terrible.
Well, yeah.
Is that real?
Anal swab. Yeah, I couldn't. I swear I can't make this stuff up, Hake.
That's terrible.
Look it up.
No, I don't. No thanks.
Yeah, anal swab.
TMI.
So
That's
say,
terrible.
I know it's too much information for you right now, but you ought to look it up, though. It's crazy. We're going to be swabbing our butts around.
I guess. Thanks for the tip, I guess. Wow.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I took a friend of mine the other day, and we had to wait. This is no lie now, and she's thankful I'm such a good and loyal friend. I sat there and waited with her in line in the car, in my truck, for almost 3 hours for her to get her nose swabbed to find out if she has coronavirus or not.
It's ridiculous. That's a shame.
It's ridiculous. It's plumb insane.
Yeah.
And then she called me the next morning and said she's coronavirus free. And,
all that for nothing.
You know,
you almost wish that you had it, so all that weight was worth something. Not really, but
darn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. but we had a good time because we laughed at people that it was 4 lines deep. So we'd look over and see people, and we'd laugh at them, and make fun of them, or I'd say hey to them.
Right.
We had made a good time out of it, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
This coronavirus stuff, it ain't slowed down a bit, but
that's wild.
I just don't see. I don't see all the politics down here in Augusta, Georgia.
That's kind of nice.
I love it, Hake.
Yeah.
It is. It's real nice, man. It's real nice. It really is. Well, look here, you're doing a good job. And like I say, I ain't been really watching you much this week, but I do go back and I watch some of the shows and all.
Right on.
And you're doing a good job. You're doing a real good job.
Appreciate it, man.
The only thing, man, you got to talk about, and I'll go ahead and break it out now. When you say, "Hey guys," you got to put you some Isaac Hayes bass in your voice.
I know. I purposely didn't go too high this morning, but
Isaac Hayes.
All right.
Do you know who Isaac Hayes is?
Isaac Hayes. I recognize the name, but I don't know who it is off the hand.
Old soul singer from the 70s.
Okay.
Isaac Hayes. Get Joel to turn you on to some of his music.
Okay.
And he got that good deep voice. And put you some bass in your voice, boy. You hear me?
Appreciate it, Skip. It's good to hear from you, man. Take care.
All right.
Good luck on your physical therapy.
Yeah, it's going good. Everything's going good, man. I'm walking right now with my walker, and the hip pain that I once was experiencing before that is completely gone. I mean, I have no more. And can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little muffled.
Okay. And but I'm using muscles in my legs I didn't even know I had.
Right.
And it is, but it's all good. I'm walking more and more every day, and I'm not going to say I'm going to do a Forrest Gump and walk out there and run out there to California and see you, but I might ride out there and see you one day. Who knows? Nice,
man. Well, congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Well, thanks a lot, Hake. And everybody in chat, I'm going to tell you what, I love them guys and gals in there. I've got so many encouraging words over the since I've been listening to you and Hake, or you and James, or you and Jesse.
Yeah.
And it's just been amazing. There's some good people in chat. You and Jesse had the best chat this side of heaven. I can't say anything better about them.
Right on, man.
And I appreciate them.
All right, Skip. Take
Well, look
care.
here.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye. We're over the hour mark, but let me quickly just finish up maybe like a minute apiece with Joe and Ruth, because they got disconnected, and I don't know if it was my fault or their fault or what. Joe, we're back with you, man.
Can you hear me this time?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Nice.
All right, real quick. Yeah, one, I'm not a Fed. And two, be careful recommending mutual funds, buddy, because mutual funds only work one direction: buy low, sell high.
Oh, what I meant with mutual funds, I didn't mean mutual funds. Okay. I'll tell the people what I meant in the next hour, but okay, go on.
You cannot short a mutual fund, so they only work in one direction.
Okay. All right.
So,
interesting.
Anyway, but yeah, bottom line, be careful with these online chat rooms pumping up stocks. They're not being altruistic. They're doing it to line their own pocket.
Okay, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
All right.
You got it. Bye.
Take care. I have some responses that I'm getting emails coming in, responses to that. But let me quickly finish up with Ruth before I go on a quick break and then get back to Tony and Anonymous and others, and then get to these stories that I want to touch on. Ruth in Georgia, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So,
Okay. I'm going to say goodbye and get your break, because I can run my head for hours. So have a good day.
You too. By the way, Ruth, if you want...
Yes, sir.
If you want, like, counseling with regard to your situation, that you seem a little upset regarding the money situation and your husband.
Sir. No, sir, I'm not upset. I just want to know what I know plus what y'all know. That way my husband and I can do the best for our family.
Well, if your husband is open to it or you want it, you can call Bond and request private counseling, and then you don't have to put out any business on air and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right. Good to hear from you, Ruth. Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day, and thank all y'all. My appreciation is very much, very deep. Thank you, Mr. All y'all.
Right on, Ruth.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. All right, Tony and Anonymous, hang tight, and the rest of the callers, I will get to you. We're going to take a quick break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes here, and I will get to this Chamath Palihapitiya guy who's going to try to run for governor if the beta governor gets thrown out. And these evil, malicious people who went after this so-called pro-Trump parenting guru woman who's a married woman, pro-Trump, donated to Trump. It's ridiculous. Hang tight. I will be right back. Pizza says based America first, based AF. And he asks, "Did you see my email?" I didn't catch it. I'll have to look out for that, man. Thank you. And Corba Koi 99 gave a shiny uni. Thank you. And Shaggy Boy gave a rose, but not the socialist kind of rose, I don't think. At least not the communist Antifa type of rose. Shaggy Boy also gave a winner. Thank you for the Trovo supporters. And it's not... Anyway, I don't want to get into that. Here's a tip from a listener, an expert listener. Hedge fund managers short stocks, and then they go on CNBC and talk mess about the stocks to ruin them. So they can buy them back at nothing, and there is no penalty. Joe is a liar. Joe may have to call in tomorrow to defend himself. They're not selling. They are buying and holding. Don't fall for what this snake is telling you. Wall Street Bets, which is one of the groups, I guess. I think it's on Reddit or somewhere, was involved in a short squeeze of GameStop and other stock this week, screwing over the hedge funds, if you'll pardon this expression, that had bet against the company, against GameStop, right? With users seeing massive profits and the investment bankers on Wall Street losing billions. That is a good thing, says this expert. Users of the subreddit, saw a perfect opportunity to own the hedge funds. By buying GameStop stock, they could initiate a short squeeze, sending the price of the stock up and forcing the hedge funds to buy more of the stock to cover themselves. Joe wants you to believe Goliath with all his bets. With all his bets by global finance and your tax dollars is the good guy here. As a result, the price skyrocketed by hundreds of %. And one of the hedge funds, Melvin Capital Management, had to be bailed out for $2.75 billion. Joe wants you to believe that the little guys who gamed the system using its own rules and struck a blow against the vulture capitalists are the bad guys. These hedge funds purposely destroy the little guy businesses to make money from nothing by shorting stocks. They have wrecked entire communities. They borrow stocks, manipulate the stocks downward, and buy it at a lower price to pay back the stock. Nobody claimed you could short a mutual fund. Snake. Interesting. A world I don't quite understand. But thank you for all the tips and support, guys. Let me just tell you very briefly about this before I get back to calls. Hang tight if you can. Tony and Anonymous and callers. This is from Wikipedia. And you know that Recall Gavin 2020.com is amassing it's amassed 1.3 million signatures, supposedly. And now all the bandwagoning liberals are jumping on board. And big money has come towards this effort. It's not just Tea Party conservatives or whatever. Well, this guy, Chamath Palihapitiya, is running for governor. He announced this week, I'm in. And he is a Silicon Valley guy. He's a San Francisco liberal, basically, right? He was born in Sri Lanka. At the age of 6, he moved with his family to Canada as refugees from a Sinhalese family from Sri Lanka. Sinhalese. Don't know what that means. Some of you may. Here, I have some pictures of him, and the Epic Times has his picture in their headline about this Recall Gavin effort. Here he is, 44 years old. Looks like a nice guy. Looks kind of young, maybe a little immature. But rich. Very enterprising young man. Not that young. Throughout his childhood, this is some interesting background information. Palihapitiya's father, I'll call him Chamath. Chamath's father was constantly unemployed, and his mother was a housekeeper and later a nurse's aide. Living on welfare, Palihapitia, Chamath, recalls sleeping on a mattress in the living room, as if that's, many people did that. I think my parents did that, slept on the mattress in the living room. But I don't think my parents were living on welfare, not in Canada. They were in America, and not on welfare, I don't think. Anyway, this guy, long story short, got an education, became a successful billionaire, involved in all this money stuff and Silicon Valley stuff, which has to do with tech, right? Big tech stuff like that. And I think he's in charge of Social Capital or something like that, which is a big company, right? I think he's a billionaire, according to one feature that was done on him in May of last year. Billionaire. But he doesn't seem like a man. I mean, he's a big-time, long-time Democrat donor, for one. No man is a Democrat donor. No person who's fit to be a governor of California, right? Unless he's repented of being a Democrat and degenerate Gen Xer. He moved to California to be with his... Listen to this. He moved to California to be with his then-girlfriend, Bridget Lau. Asian woman. And they later they married. So he moved to be with the woman. So common of us millennials and Gen Xers, right? And younger. Shameful. In 2018, he filed for divorce, which is interesting. It's less common for the man to do it than for the woman to do it. Usually the woman files for divorce. 80% of the time I've heard. But this guy took the role of the woman and filed for divorce. I don't know what the circumstances are. But this guy, Chamath, he currently lives in California with his girlfriend, living with his girlfriend, Natalie Dompe, an Italian pharmaceutical heiress and model. And you can just show pictures of him generally. I have some interesting 2013 tweets, actually, from him. Back in, because I'm like, Chamath abortion. I Googled it, right? Or I searched it on Twitter or something. And I came across these tweets. He tweeted back in 2013 during the Obama administration. Obama's bungling of health care, which is interesting. You don't see him? Let me just make sure that I have these things. You showed one picture of him. You have to have at least a couple of them. Talking with Joel here.
I showed both of those there. That's all I see.
There's 7 pictures or 9 pictures in there that I transferred into that whole thing. Do you have the clip? Because I'm going to call for a clip.
I have the clip.
Okay. You don't have all those other pictures?
I can see.
Oh, man.
Oh, this here?
Yeah, all that stuff in general. Just show these pictures in general. Billionaire. A billionaire. Crazy, huh? Anyway, he's a Hillary fangirl. And he was criticizing, this is his plan to move California forward, which is interesting. Some of it's mildly interesting. He reminds me sort of an Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was a successful businessman, highlighted by Obama, right? Andrew Yang, the guy who wants to give away $1,000 or $2,000 to everybody, like a month or a week or whatever. 0% state tax. We can cut taxes to 0% from 16% and drive growth, which will increase the state's revenue from $150 billion to $300 billion. $70,000 teacher salary. Wow, that's terrible. The reason I say that's terrible is because some of these teachers are you're rewarding them to brainwash the children. You've seen clips of teachers teaching imaginary racism education to kids, right? This guy was probably brainwashed in that stuff. He's from Canada, right? Refugee to Canada. Global Center for Tech and Climate Jobs, pushing that climate mess, which is a very hyped thing right now. Free school vouchers, that sounds all right. pick any school they want to attend. He says education is a human right. I don't know about that. He says no student loans. We have $1.6 trillion of student debt. Okay, Bernie Sanders, socialist. And he says $2,000 for every new child born in California. I mean, that's kind of bribery. It seems kind of corrupt. We do need more babies, right? Especially decent babies, as Joel might say. White babies, as others would say. He's a Hillary fangirl, though. Here's some tweets. He criticized Obama's bungling of health care, which is interesting, right? Says two things. One, he can't manage the details. And two, he's handling this about as well as Bush did Katrina. Whatever. I think that was just hype about Katrina and Bush. And then he responded, this is old school Twitter, right? In 2013, November. Hillary Clinton is so awesome, he says. And the headline, he says, is Congressman asks Hillary Clinton about reproductive health and gets pawned. Pawned. That's like owned / pawned or whatever. I don't know. That's old school 2013 lingo. And so I clicked on the link that he shared, and it's from this viral content called Upworthy. Upworthy. And their Upworthy headline is, don't ask Hillary Clinton about abortion if you can't handle her answer. He's thinking, oh, and it's some fangirl or whatever bragging about how she responded. Oh, I'm going to put to use abortion to put her on the spot. And I have this clip, and this is what this man, at least 7 years ago, thought was remarkable, and Hillary Clinton is so awesome. Let me play this clip for you, and then I will get to calls. Because this is ridiculous. This guy who lives with his girlfriend and divorced his previous girlfriend turned wife that he moved to be with, to California to be with. Anyway, not to be too harsh on the guy, but listen to this clip. This was shared by a far-left pro-abortion outlet called RH Reality Check. RH, I think, stands for reproductive health, which is a it's a euphemism for killing babies, right? Here is Hillary Clinton way back in 2009. She was Barack Obama's Secretary of State. Can you imagine? This is before the Benghazi fiasco where there was a terror attack and Hillary Clinton botched everything and pretended like she cared and didn't care, and what difference does it make? Well, here is Hillary Clinton being questioned back in April of 2009 about abortion by some congressman, right? It's about maybe 3 minutes long. Listen to this clip and listen to all the buzzwords, the old, blind, empty buzzwords and the phony justification for abortion. Listen to this woman and this man.
Is the Obama administration seeking in any way to weaken or overturn pro-life laws and policies in African and Latin American countries? Does the United States definition of the term reproductive health or reproductive services or reproductive rights include abortion? I yield to the distinguished gentleman.
Congressman, I deeply respect your passionate concern and views, which you have championed and advocated for over the course of your public career. We obviously have a profound disagreement. When I think about the suffering that I have seen of women around the world, I've been in hospitals in Brazil where half the women were enthusiastically and joyfully greeting new babies, and the other half were fighting for their lives against botched abortions. I've been in African countries where 12 and 13-year-old girls are bearing children. I have been in Asian countries where the denial of family planning consigns women to lives of oppression and hardship. So we have a very fundamental disagreement. Oppression. And it is my strongly held view that you are entitled to advocate, and everyone who agrees with you should be free to do so anywhere in the world. And so are we. We happen to think that family planning is an important part of women's health, and reproductive health includes access to abortion that I believe should be safe, legal, and rare. I spent a lot of my time trying to bring down the rate of abortions, and it has been my experience that good family planning and good medical care brings down the rate of abortion. Keeping women and men in ignorance and denied the access to services actually increases the rate of abortion. During my time as First Lady, I helped to create the Campaign Against Teenage Pregnancy. And while we were working to provide good information, access to contraception, and decision-making that would enable young women to protect themselves and say no, the rate of teen pregnancy went down. I'm sad to report that after an administration of 8 years that undid so much of the good work, the rate of teenage pregnancy is going up. So we disagree, and we are now an administration that will protect the rights of women, including their rights to reproductive health care.
Clapping.
The time of the gentleman is expired.
So that's from 2009, and that was some upworthy viral video that this Chamath simp thought made Hillary Clinton so awesome. Hillary Clinton is so awesome, this Chamath for California governor said. You think he's going to be any better if he gets in than Gavin Newsom? He might be a little bit more competent with the business stuff because he seems like able to make a whole lot of money. But he's a sicko and a kiss-up. What a sick person. And you hear all those buzzwords, family planning. This is the woman who said, it takes a village to raise a child. A sick woman. Reproductive health, access to abortion, safe, legal, and rare. They don't care about safe, legal, and rare. And they also don't actually care about what's right. It's like my argument with that 22-year-old caller guy who hung up on me and then he blocked me on Twitter. The black guy, upper middle class black guy from Connor from one of the Connecticut or somewhere, right? He's you can stop teen pregnancy. Well, I don't know if he said teen pregnancy, but out of wedlock births by contraception, education, sex education, as if teenage pregnancy is in itself a bad thing. Teenage pregnancy is better than getting an abortion, and then later on you have isn't there an ABC link, abortion breast cancer link? So you kill the baby, kill your conscience, become a cruel person, and then you have a baby later, and you have maybe breast cancer and all kinds of mess. Safe, legal, and rare. When as recently as 2013 or 2012, or more recently than that maybe, in New York City, there were more abortions of black babies than births of black babies. And some of the idiots think that, it's better to abort them than to raise criminals. No, you're just raising criminal mothers with a seared conscience of having killed their children, cruel and killed conscience, and then they're still raising babies with a cruel, corrupt, killed conscience. Of course there's going to be a more violent crime from the males who grow up under women like that, right? And females, too. I wonder if the so-called parents of those teenage girls who killed the girl in the Walmart over in Louisiana, if there was any abortion in their families. It certainly is in their so-called communities, if you even want to call them communities. What a mess. Campaign against teenage pregnancy as if that's the evil. She was first so-called lady of the United States under Bill Clinton, promoting sex like crazy, promoting mass... I don't want to get into that, but they're promoting just gross stuff, degenerate stuff, including their Surgeon General, black female Surgeon General. Access to contraception. No, we need more babies. We just need morals. And she's pretending that the alternative is keeping women and men in ignorance, and abstinence doesn't work. Yes, it does. People can be returned to morals. Anyway, and what's wrong with with 12 and 13-year-old girls getting pregnant over there if they're into that. Wasn't the Virgin Mary like supposedly 13 years old? From what I understand, it's better to have the baby than to kill it and then disrupt your body function. And that's what causes the breast cancer correlation. I'm not saying it's causing it, but it's correlated. It may be kind of causing it. More so than poverty causes crime nonsense. So she's a sleazy person, and he's a sucker. Typical, huh? So typical. Refugees. Anyway, I got to get back to calls. Let me get to Anonymous in California. Wants to comment on this Recall Gavin situation. Anonymous, are you there?
Hi.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay today?
Yeah, you're still coming in a little quiet, but I think you're coming in louder than yesterday.
Okay, well, yesterday I did not have time to let y'all know that I had a nightmare about Gavin Newsom yesterday.
Wow.
He has destroyed California. He has destroyed people's lives.
Yep.
Caused businesses to go under. He has us locked down. Our kids can't go to school. My oldest son said that he has been robbed of his childhood because since last year of 2020 March, they didn't get to go on their end-of-the-year school field trip.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to go to their only place to swim for exercise at the local college.
Wow.
We are not.
That's
rich.
insane.
We don't have a backyard pool. You know, we were banned from going to the park, to the public park to go play.
It's ridiculous.
We couldn't go to the pool to go swim.
Yep.
We couldn't go anywhere. He has destroyed people's lives. He is evil. He is a monster. He's been haunting me in my nightmares.
That's terrible.
It's not a joke. Liberalism must be a mental disorder for him to think that it's okay for him to lock us down, but he can go to a $1,000 a plate restaurant without a mask at a party to go have dinner. But
right.
We have to stay our poor butts have to stay at home and suffer, though.
Right. Good points, Anonymous. Yeah. Evil person. But don't let him get to you. That's not a good thing if you're having nightmares about this guy. He is a nightmarish, ghoulish person. He looked evil. Esteban from over here in my former co-host, he showed me a video, and I don't have the video for you guys, but of this guy getting confronted about, oh, why are you all of a sudden, because people are saying it's abrupt, his planning to reopen the state of California, so-called, meaning no longer oppress us with these stupid shutdowns that don't probably do much. Why are you opening up? Is it because of the recall campaign? And he's like blinking all hard and looking all weird and touching his face and just acting crazy. And he looks evil.
That's because Gavin Newsom is a darn weirdo. He's
Yeah.
first nature. He is a demon in a human body. He can't handle the truth. When you pray, he will flee.
Right. You know, I noticed how phony he was at the Democrat National Convention that they had this past year, because he was just this big old smile thing and say climate change is real and use the fires as the example of why, when there's no evidence, no real evidence that the fires were caused by this climate change, but more due to their poor management of both the feds and the state level with regard to the forest management and all that stuff. I think Trump is more right than he or any of the liberals are with regard to all that stuff, this climate nonsense. What a shame. But he's all this big, smiley, fake guy. I didn't realize how immature and phony he was.
Yeah, well, Gavin Newsom, if you can hear me, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus.
Nice. I think he does listen to my show. That's why he's mad. I appreciate it, Anonymous.
Recall Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, I signed the petition. I think Joel Friday did. You signed it?
I got me and everybody I could to come with me.
Right on. I appreciate it, Anonymous. Nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Man. Tony in California. He wants to ask me an interesting question, I think. Tony, what's up?
Good evening. Good afternoon there, sir. How are you today?
I'm fine. Good morning from here.
Oh, well, good. Well, it's afternoon where I'm at.
But you're in California. You're from California, but you're living in where?
Yeah.
Where you living?
Where I'm living or where I'm traveling?
Where are you?
I'm in Michigan.
Ah, interesting.
I have businesses in Michigan. I also have businesses in Florida.
Big man.
I have homes in Florida. No, it's not big man. It's just living the American dream. That's all. But the thing is, you were talking about the presidents during the time of slavery.
Yeah, the great American heroes like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Abraham Lincoln, maybe.
In your history, they are great people. The Confederate Civil War was a great people in your history.
Right, in real history.
No, in your history. That's the European history. But the thing
that's
is,
not European history. That's American history.
Well, that is European. That is European history, American history, because you don't recognize nobody else's history but Europeans.
Whatever.
But the thing is that the situation is they were rapists, they was murderers, they was
you don't know what you're talking
traitors.
about.
Well, man, see, there you go again. There you go. Can I speak? Can I speak, please? I let you speak. Can I speak?
I know, but you're just slandering the dead.
No, I'm not, because the situation is my great-great-great-great-grandmother, which is Sally Hemings, was raped by Thomas Jefferson 6 times.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Wait a minute, but can I give you my history?
No.
Can I give you my history?
That's fake history. That's her story.
No, it's not.
That's not his story. That's her story. And her story is all lies.
She was raped 6 times, but she has children by Thomas Jefferson.
Shame on you, Tony. You hate men.
Shame on me.
You hate men. You hate whites. You hate blacks. Is there anything you don't hate? And you benefited from America. And you're smearing America. You're sick.
Okay, I'm smearing America. I'm just telling the truth for America. You don't want to hear it,
you wouldn't know truth if it smacked you in the face. We've heard you lying.
I understand.
You got caught lying on the Jesse Lee Peterson show.
No,
and you
because Jesse Lee Peterson show and your show is nothing but lies. Y'all ain't up but liars.
Yeah.
But the thing is, did you also hear about the boy or the Proud Boys? He working for the FBI. The leader of the Proud Boys worked for the FBI.
He didn't work for them. Okay.
He's a snitch.
Let me correct the record.
Yeah. Come on with it, because you won't go bring it up, so I had to bring it up. Come on with this.
No, I might have brought it up. Tony,
no, you ain't say a word about it, bro. You ain't say a word.
I might have brought it up later. Okay?
Okay, whatever.
I let you spoke.
So speak then. Go ahead, speak your lives. Go ahead.
Calm down, man. Okay. And Bible go-to guy wants to fact check you too, by the way. But you brought up the Proud Boys, the great American-loving Proud Boys.
Yeah,
who love Western civilization and appreciate America, unlike scum like you who leech off of America and then turn around and backstab it and smear men. You smear men. I let you spoke. Put him on hold. This guy's smearing men as rapists. Might as well be part of the Me Too movement. Okay, Tony, you're on hold. Nobody can hear you. Okay, so he brought up the Proud Boys guy. This Enrique Tarrio is the so-called leader of Proud Boys. And he's like a POC, right? From Cuba, or maybe he's Cuban descent, right? Maybe he was born in Miami. And so he has a checkered past like many young men. And maybe a bit of a criminal past or something. I don't know exactly what. But this guy's calling him a snitch. And what did he snitch about? Well, marijuana grow things. And some of you be like, oh, but marijuana shouldn't be criminalized and all this and that. Whatever. You know what else he was so-called snitching against? Human trafficking. Human smuggling. Meaning bringing in illegals in and all that madness. And maybe like sex slavery type trafficking. That's another thing he was snitching about. And drug dealers and stuff. He was so-called snitching about the worst of the worst. And I'm not for the feds in general, because the stuff that they say about local cops, these blacks like this, about, they protect their own, they don't care about what's right, they're just a gang. That's what's actually true about many of these federal people, because they believe in this racism thing, and they let criminals slide, and then they selectively prosecute meme makers like the great Ricky Vaughn. They are the worst of the worst. And so I understand that you don't necessarily want to snitch to the feds, because the feds are no good in many cases, right? They're a bunch of liberals who don't care about what's right, no morals, all kinds of stuff like that. But the people that he was snitching on were evil people. So I'm okay with that. And that was back in 2014 to 2015, or 2012 to 2014, right? 2012 to 2014, he was a snitch. 7, 6, 8 years ago, Enrique Tarrio. There's no evidence that he's been doing that. But this guy wants to get up on his high horse and make false accusations against the great Thomas Jefferson and pretend that it's his great-great-great-grandmother. You're ridiculous, Tony. You're shameful.
How am I ridiculous when I'm telling you the truth, man?
You're not telling the truth, man.
You saying that Thomas Jefferson didn't have no children with slaves? That's what
I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care.
So why you say I'm lying?
Tony, let's pretend that Thomas Jefferson had a child with a slave, which is not true. It's not true.
Okay, then you lie, but that's a lie.
It's not true.
Okay, what else?
It's not true. Let's pretend that did happen. Like some of these slave owners, maybe they had children with slaves. That's not rape necessarily, Tony.
Why it ain't? Why is that? When you forcing yourself a female that don't want to be bothered with you.
Were you there?
Man, come on, man.
Were you there?
Make it make sense. You mean to tell me
innocent, less proven guilty.
You are being captured against your will to work from sunup to sundown.
That's
but
the way
you're gonna have sex pleasurably with a white man. Get the heck out of here,
People
bro.
eventually gonna have sex.
Yeah, they got their own people to have sex with. Why would they go to a white man that got a little pecker?
That's Tony, sicko. Let me get to Ian in Martinez, California. Sorry about that, kids. Tony's disgusting. Ian, what's up?
The Hake report.
Hey, long time no hear, man. How are you?
Yeah, dude, I had to call after yesterday. You gave me another shout out.
Yeah.
I guess there's another guy calling from up here.
That's cool. Martinez, California.
Yeah, there's another guy that calls from Concord. Ryan from Concord.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy too. He came down to a men's conference the other year.
Yeah, I actually met him at a Trump rally up here because we got a couple different groups going on up here.
Right on. That's cool, man.
Yeah, in Lafayette, one in Danville, one in Livermore. There's this guy this guy from Livermore is running for governor. I don't know if you've heard of him, Diego Martinez.
Okay. Would you endorse him, or do you know much about him?
Yeah, I would endorse him. I met him at this last Livermore rally.
What's his name again?
Diego Martinez.
Diego Martinez. All right. Appreciate it, man. Probably better than Chamath Palihapitiya.
Yeah, dude, we can't be voting for some dude we can't even pronounce his name of.
I know. I voted, to my shame, I voted for Arnold Schwarzenegger. What a terrible decision. He was awful on, immigration and everything. Not that immigration is really supposed to be a state's issue, but he was a total liberal kiss-up. And he turned on Trump, by the way. Weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, he's still no speaky, dude. Been in the country for what, 30-plus years?
Right.
He can't speak English.
I know.
You got to speak the language, bro.
Yep.
If I'm going to vote for you,
yeah,
you got to speak English, and I got to be able to pronounce your name.
Yes. Man, that was terrible. Anyway, so you know this guy, and what's his name again?
Diego Martinez.
Okay. And he's not from Martinez, California.
I don't know where. I'm still getting I'm still reading up on him. I'm
okay.
still,
Cool.
Research.
All right, man.
But I actually met him because he goes to these rallies and he speaks.
Yeah. There's also a Republican former mayor of San Diego, and he's probably a total rhino. There's some shenanigans that have gone on with San Diego. I know a guy who was just smeared as a racist for not hating white people down in San Diego. It's supposed to be like somewhat conservative, and they know the situation with the illegal aliens and all kinds of mess going on. So I don't know if the Republican from San Diego who's mulling a possible, considering running for governor, and to be honest, we don't even know if this Gavin Newsom recall thing is going to make it, but it's getting quite close. Man looks like he's getting a little nervous. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's all that behind the door, behind the back door stuff that we don't know about that goes on. Because you got him and the Pelosi connection. They've been in it for years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, true.
We're doing our best on this end, and we don't even know what goes on their end.
Have you heard anything that went on? Because up in Martinez, California, that's where those that white couple, Trump supporting couple, a little bit vulgar. They were living together, I think. Painted over the Black Lives Matter disgraceful hate sign on the street. They were painting over it, right?
Yeah, calling it a mural.
Yeah, they were calling it a mural, exactly. But they painted over it. They got arrested, and I haven't heard anything since. Is there any update on that that you know of?
No, there isn't, but I'll look into it.
Okay.
When I get some time.
Because Martinez,
the last I checked is what I told you.
Okay.
That there was a black prosecutor, the DA, was a black female.
Right. I vaguely remember that.
She was charging them with a hate crime.
It's ridiculous. The Black Lives Matter mural is a hate crime. You know, it's so ridiculous. I heard that the media is now calling Blue Lives Matter white supremacist associated. The white supremacist affiliated Blue Lives Matter. I'm talking about cops who are getting killed and falsely accused and targeted and smeared and doxxed and all kinds of stuff. And they're saying that's white supremacist. I guess anything that's for justice and for actual peace and decency is so-called white supremacist to these lying liberal media people. What a mess.
Yeah, well, like Jesse and you say, dude, we need more white people
right.
to stand up to that.
Yeah, exactly. Very true.
Dude, that's why you guys are so good. That's one of the reasons you guys are so good. That's one of the many reasons Bond is so good, is because you guys are taking the route that you take. You're like, look what's going on to whites. Like, white people, wake up.
Yeah.
The reason you're not speaking up is because you haven't spoke up. Now is the time.
Right.
If you don't speak up now, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I mean, they may take our jobs, but if we don't speak up and let that type of stuff happen, they're going to start taking lives and throw people in jail and stuff. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, we do speak up and we get deplatformed, and that's true, but you have to be willing and wise with how and when you speak up and unrelenting, despite the loss of the worldly things. Very true. I appreciate that, man. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah. Numbers, too. We need numbers. Numbers.
Yeah, we do need numbers, but numbers are kind of worldly. That's like a worldly value. You'll notice that the liberals want more people voting and more this and more that. We want to make it easier for every idiot to vote, and we have the popularity. We're more popular than you. You guys are on your way out. But Gideon in the Bible, he defeated thousands with just hundreds, right? And so and one man, President Trump, he may have lost a battle here and there because by cheating and all corrupt world, right? The world there's not enough decent people with the courage to stand with him. But one man was quite powerful. He became the president of the United States and did some decent things, even with everybody against him, including his own administration.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily take numbers. We don't have to have this worldly mindset of being dismayed by not having the numbers that they seem like they have. They want to intimidate you with numbers and all that stuff. and get in your head. And that's not necessarily that. We don't have to fall for that. We don't have to fall for that. But yeah, it's nice to see anytime somebody's waking up and really waking up, not just saying, oh, I'm no longer a Democrat, because there's a whole lot of blind, evil Republicans. So, yeah, man.
It takes a lot more than just switching parties.
Right. Yeah.
Or leaving the party and not switching parties.
Yeah. By the way, next week is the first Thursday of the month, and I don't know, but I think that we should be having our monthly men's forum first Thursday of the month, guys. A week from today. Just a quick heads up, just a side note. Reason I thought of it is because you've come all the way down from Martinez once or twice or three times for those things, Ian.
Yeah, I made that first one you guys opened back up back in July because of the Chinese virus.
Right. That's
cool, the very
man.
first one you guys had opening back up.
Yep. That's cool.
Which is another good thing about you guys. You were only shut down for, what, a month or a couple months?
It seemed like a few months because I think we were forced to close mid-March. So April, May, June, I guess 3 months if my numbers are right. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Pretty bad. Anyway, Ian.
They finally painted over that the yellow BLM, Black Lives Matter.
That's good, man. If that's so, they don't have that anymore in the street.
No, excuse me, not painted. Paved the city. Yeah, the city of Martinez, the utilities department.
Oh gosh, so they're gonna paint it again. That's funny. That did look like a cracked up street.
The city voted against it. Voted against painting it again.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear.
Because a lot of people started, Martinez is, like right on, like 50-50. If it leans anyway, it's going to lean more left. But there are a good share of Trump supporters here.
Nice. The world became, a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention, and they tend to jump to conclusions or believe what the media tells them. And I heard that the support for Black Lives Matter was early on with the fake George Floyd controversy was like 63%, which is ridiculous. And they unmasked themselves because they're so angry and evil. So I'm not surprised to hear that, actually. That's that's good news. Appreciate that, Ian.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk, man. Take care.
Yes, I'll keep you in the loop.
Right on. Take care, man.
All right.
All right. Maze in Dayton, Ohio wants to comment on the Keystone Pipeline, and if I have time, I'll tell you about this other news story. Maze, how are you doing?
I'm just fine, James.
Nice.
Why are people upset about the Keystone Pipeline and them people losing their job, but not the retail people and all the companies that closed up? Didn't those families have jobs?
Are you aware that people were upset about the shutdown of the businesses? So that's what you just said is not true. People are mad that the Keystone was shut down, and people are mad that these businesses were shut down.
Really, it doesn't sound like it.
Well, you haven't been paying any attention then. You're lying. Either you're lying or you haven't paid any attention.
I'm saying they are making it that when they closed the Keystone Pipeline down, and they should have waited and shouldn't have closed it down, they're losing jobs. How many jobs did they lose?
Thousands.
Really? How many retail and all these restaurants and stuff lost jobs?
Tens or maybe hundreds of thousands, and we weren't for that either. Trump was against that.
Yeah. If you was against it, why were they losing the job?
You don't really care about these people, do you,
Yes,
Mace?
I do care.
No, you don't.
And I have yes, I do. Well,
no,
you don't care. And y'all
the reason I know you don't care is that you're just using this as a gotcha to the conservatives.
No, I'm not using
and
it
it's
as
a
a gotcha.
silly gotcha because the conservatives have always been against these shutdowns.
I'm not saying a gotcha.
Yeah, it is. That's a total gotcha. It's dumb. No, you're not using your brain. You're dishonest, Maze.
When you ask the question,
I can't believe you, Maze.
Calm down, boy.
You haven't been paying attention.
Calm down. I have been paying attention. I'm just listening to you all.
Have you been hearing? Hold on, Maze. Have you been hearing for the past several months? We've been decrying the communist shutdowns in the name of this virus.
Really? So now, as you say, you've been crying.
Yes or no, Maze? Yes or no? Maze. Yes or no? You've heard us decrying these shutdowns.
No.
Okay, you're dishonest. You're either dishonest or dense.
I hear you screaming and hollering about small business.
You lack comprehension if you did not hear us.
If I like it, you don't have any. But as I was saying,
Maze, I'm putting her on hold. If Maze didn't hear us calling these shutdowns communist for the past several months, then she's either dense or dishonest. I'm a little surprised at her. I'm a little surprised at you, Maze.
As I was saying, in the Proud Boys, why are they shaving, cutting their hair off, and all this stuff that they went down to the Capitol to do? Why don't they just be bad like they want to be and just be who they were when they were down there? Stop trying to be in the sky.
I don't know. You have to ask them. I don't know anything about it, Mace.
Oh, you don't know about that either. You got amnesia.
I don't know anything about Proud Boys shaving their heads to go to the Capitol.
The one that they arrested, he shaved his hair and everything, and the other one shaved.
Whatever.
Looked like somebody different.
It sounds like you're more into their appearance than I am.
No. What I'm more interested in.
Do you like them? Do you have a crush on them or something? Why are you into them?
I don't have a crush on them because they don't like women.
No, they love women. They venerate the housewife.
Women, no, they like to.
No, they love women, Mace.
Mace, so they can.
I'm going to put her on hold again. The Proud Boys, one of their primary things, they support women being housewives. That's a great thing. That means they love women, or at least they want to. So another dishonest point. Strike 2 for Maze today. Wow.
As I was saying, James, they don't like women. They want to keep their testosterone up, and they're a bunch of men together. And then I was surprised.
What's wrong with wanting to keep your testosterone up? They don't want fluoride.
They'll mess with women, yeah. But anyway, as I was surprised to see a lot of old men involved in this crazy mess too. But why they got to threaten people? Why y'all isn't to threaten? Y'all always talking about other communities and other minorities. Why y'all got to threaten people because y'all can't have
We're not threatening anybody. You guys are the ones threatening us.
They threaten the politicians?
No, you're the ones threatening, not us, Maze. Nope.
What did they say do to the vice president?
That was not me. That was not me.
I didn't say you.
No, you said y'all. You said y'all. Why y'all threatening?
What they do? I mean, why did they do that? Why do they want to go hang them?
Ask them. That's your type of people, Maze.
You need to be trying to help them because some of them in your chat room.
I do try to help them, but none of the people in my chat room are calling for any kind of violence or threats.
Well, then they need
so you're
to help
dishonest.
The ones
are you a Fed? Are you a Fed, Maze?
No, I'm not. They need to help those that's mentally ill, help them, and they can stop it.
Maze is glowing.
Stop being so losers. That's just the way it goes. And you know I'm telling the truth.
No, you're not. You haven't told the truth once.
The truth hurts. The truth hurts, and not hearing what you want to hear to make you happy hurt.
Whatever. The truth hurts when white people say something true about blacks, and you have to call in because the truth hurts so bad.
When you talk about
you have to call in and come in and lie and smear.
No. When you talk about what happened at the Capitol, y'all hate Black Lives Matter. Just words on the street. They can't jump up and do nothing to you.
Oh yeah, they can. They threaten people all the time. They break people's windows. Maze,
so happy to...
she's lying again. I put her on hold. They broke windows in communities. Black Lives Matter scumbags. Some of them were like, "Don't do that." You know, some of them are kind of nice. These evil people, nice evil people. But some of them were breaking windows and threatening people. One guy got arrested for brandishing a shotgun from inside his own house. A black guy, I think. So, strike 3, Maze.
When you say that the Black Lives Matter, there was Caucasians, there was Asians, there was all kind of people doing the Black Lives Matter.
I didn't say they weren't.
And who broke the first window? It wasn't a black person that they got on tape breaking the window.
That's not the first window that broke, Maze.
I always use that as a crutch. Black Lives Matter.
Hey, Maze.
What?
Are you aware that's not the first? Are you aware that's not the first window that broke?
No, it's not the first window that broke. But I'm saying the person that broke the window. They always cause confusion and put it on somebody else. That's what y'all do. Blame everybody.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Maze.
So
nice to hear from you, Maze.
Nobody's gonna listen to Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity like they used to control the news. They said and everybody catch on. That's over.
My mind is going numb.
Tell all the people that want to harm people to go sit down somewhere and get on their knees and pray.
Motormouth Maze.
Some of the evil out of them.
Motormouth Maze.
Tell me what you want to.
I do.
And I'm just telling you the truth.
You have a good day, Maze.
Enjoy your day, James.
Thank you. You should repent. Hot Computer Smell says, I'll have to disagree with you there. With the super chat in streamlabs.com/The Hake Report, Little Caesars conventional pizza is the worst. Next to Papa John's, which used to be excellent 20 years ago, right? Supposedly. Domino's/Marco's all the way. I'm not familiar with Marco's Pizza, but it sounds somewhat like an Italian name. Yeah, Domino's is pretty good. Hot Computer Smell also gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report and said, angels are being released right now. Angels are being released from Africa right now. Chamath Pt1. So maybe she was conjuring this guy. Maybe she was conjuring this wannabe new governor from California. Well, really from Sri Lanka. It's by way of Canada to California, following his girlfriend to go live with her and then marry her and then divorce her. Yeah, I was talking about this Chamath Pt1, Africa right now, Sri Lanka right now. She's making fun of Paula White. That's President Trump's spiritual advisor. As, what's his name, said, he does not need any spiritual advice. I'm blanking on his name. What's my former co-host's name? Esteban said, Trump does not need any spiritual advisor. He probably just picked some random person. Meaning a former friend, a longtime friend of his, Paula White. Or maybe he listened to her. Mays is lying way more than usual today, and that's saying a lot. Yeah, I agree. Black Lives Matter murdered 5 police officers in Dallas during a BLM march. A black guy with an AK-47. And within a week of that, on my birthday, I think, July 17th, something like that, another black guy murdered a bunch in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A bunch of cops. And injured others. And years before that, at the beginning of Black Lives Matter, with the scum of the earth, this guy, mentally ill guy, he posted on Instagram, I'm putting wings on pigs. I'm putting pigs in a blanket. And then he said, they killed Eric Garner and Michael Brown. They killed 2 of us. We kill 4 of theirs. And he shot and killed 2 cops point blank range in New York City. And then there was many other cop killer blacks, all inspired by this fake Black Lives Matter movement. And incited by the mainstream media. Of course, they were poorly raised, right? It's their own fault, right? Very true. Anyway, quick story in the last 2 minutes here about evil women, blacks, and gays. Well, evil woman, black woman, evil gay. Daily Wire's Matt Walsh, whom all of you who know him love him, tweeted, a baby sleep training expert has been boycotted and smeared after someone dug through FEC, Federal Election Commission, records and found out she donated to Trump. They even posted her address online. And he quote tweeted this tweet that you're looking at right now if you're watching the video from The Cut, which is a far-left sleazy outlet. A boycott is brewing against a formerly beloved child care consultant, Cara Dumaplin. So they named her, doxed her, right? Who has reportedly been funneling some of the profits from her pricey classes, because she makes bank, into the Trump campaign's coffers, funneling money. And Matt Walsh points out how sinister The Cut tries to make it sound with those buzzwords, funneling. Yeah, she donated less than $2,000, and she makes a lot of money. She has like over 1 million followers on Instagram, and she has a husband who's a pediatrician, child doctor, right? Anyway, he also pointed out that we have no way of knowing if this woman used her profits to donate to the Trump campaign's coffers. This is the lady, right? Cara Dumaplin, right? Right on, Cara. Her business was called Taking Cara Babies. Cara. C-A-R-A. So the Cut stupid headline reads, what's all this drama about a pro-Trump parenting guru? And the drama's been on the parenting forums of Facebook. Facebook is a tool of evil. And these sleazy black women, Brandy Jordan, caught wind of it and pointed out that Cara Dumaplin's Martin Luther King Day post about Instagram featured a black baby and some other babies, and it said future world changer or something like that, right? But she posted the most beautiful biblical reference about how a baby can be raised with love to become changing the world, but for a good thing, not this stupid fake civil rights thing. But it was just a very nice post, and she claimed it was using multicultural marketing to cover your obvious support of a racist, pretending that Trump is a racist. This Brandy Jordan woman, a white-hating black female, who's also in this field. Apparently jealousy, right? Backstabbing. And then there's this gay guy, very liberal homosexual male, he called himself, named Jamie Grayson, wrote on Facebook and said, "You cannot take Cara babies if the person you're supporting puts them in cages," which is false. You can take Cara babies in cages. You can't take Cara babies if you kill them through abortion. So that's that story. They're smearing her because they gave not even $2,000 between her and her husband. Didn't even give $2,000 towards our real President Trump's re-election campaign. Ridiculous. Anyway, guys, that's that story. This has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com for my stuff, JesseLeePeterson.com for Jesse Lee Peterson's stuff, and rebuildingtheman.com/church. If you missed it, the Throwback Sunday Service episode is there. Scroll down, you can read the write-up and podcast the Throwback Sunday services, as well as Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. The silent prayer is also found there. Maze needs it big time, and so does Tony. Sleazy today, huh? All right, guys, take care.